Wow.
Here we are again. Monday morning.
Welcome to
Find Your Beach.
January 31st. We're almost there, you guys. We're almost there. We have 6 weeks till daylight savings.
Are you serious?
Punxsutawney Phil is going to come out of his hole and he's going to finger blast the Queen of England.
And that is the story of Groundhog Day.
Yep.
That's the real story.
That's how it came about.
They don't want you to know that, but it's out there, okay? And guess who broke it first? The journalists at Find Your Beach podcast.
Yeah.
Folks, if you haven't already, please go over to patreon.com/Find Your Beach and join our Patreon. You get an extra episode of this podcast every week. You get some insight into our more personal lives, I would say.
Yeah, we kind of save some of those episodes for
our real friends.
Yeah, for our real friends, the patrons, the ones that support us. By the way, we do have another VI Bistro, which is for our top tier patrons, coming up the night of the 8th. That's in a week almost. So you got a little bit of time to get there. We hope the whole gang shows up.
Yeah.
Kelsey, remind us you're a lifer. What else?
Wait, there was one other thing. Fuck. If you can't afford to join the Patreon, please head over to iTunes and leave us a review. That would help us kind of get the word out about the podcast. It helps in a non-financial way, but in a still very significant way. So, do we have some new patron members that we need to
Well,
shout
I did
out?
want to say one other thing real quick about being a patron. We are going to be doing some big live shows. And those big live shows they're coming up and they're going to be good. Probably going to have special guests. And those are going to go on the Patreon. So if you want to hear all the tea get spilled and you don't want to go to India, because that's where all the tea's made. So they can
spill it.
Yeah.
They probably spill it more.
What a gossipy country.
Stupid.
That's my problem. Like, that's a guy who doesn't like Indians. He's like, they're always spilling tea. He's gay. He's closeted. He's racist. It's a new character I'm working on.
Yeah.
We have one new patron this week. You're very special. Mm-hmm. Welcome to the beach, Ginny.
Welcome, Ginny.
Wow.
Guys, join Ginny. Head over to www.patreon.com/Find Your Beach. For as little as $5 a month, you get an extra episode of this podcast. Okay, so I wanted to start this off by saying that I got some fan mail.
You did?
I did.
Did you share it with me yet?
Not yet.
Oh, wow. Okay.
This is for a set that I did at the Comedy Cellar on the 20th, when was that? When was the 20th?
10 days ago.
10 days ago. So 10 days ago, this woman saw me at the Comedy Cellar, and I made such an impact that she decided to email me through my website.
That's great.
Okay. Hey, saw your show last night at the 10 p.m. Comedy Cellar. Just wanted to say you were terrible. I have never wanted so badly to boo. It would have been so appropriate to do that because the audience would have participated more. The duck sucking joke, terrible. Your husband with the tremor, offensive.
Yeah.
Too ugly to be molested.
Okay.
And super offensive. I think you should stick with your day job, don't have one, or get new jokes.
She comes for money. Sorry, ma'am.
I had to order mouthwash with my beer to choke down the bad taste in my mouth.
They don't serve mouthwash.
And that's also a bad taste.
Yeah.
Not funny, just sad.
Well, a lot of the time's true, but...
Very true.
Well, what's this lady's name? Because I'm a fan.
Rebecca.
Rebecca Dunn.
Yeah. So thanks, Rebecca, for that shout out.
Thanks, Dunny.
Thanks, honey Dunny.
I like her. She sounds fun.
Yeah.
That's funny that you bring that up. Do you want to? Can I share a similar anecdote? Last night, I did a show in the middle of Pennsylvania. I did a show near Hershey, but it was like out in the farmland.
Right.
both shows, Friday and Saturday, were on vineyards, which you should really say vineyards because it's Pennsylvania. Like, you drinking wine from Pennsylvania? Okay, bud. But it was so funny because the host was like, hey, just so you know, the audience is a little conservative. And I was like, yeah, I drove down a 2-mile dirt road. I kind of knew they'd be conservative. I didn't. There's never progress at the end of a dirt road. But
yeah, it's generally a dead end.
But Friday night was a disaster. They hated me.
Right.
I really love the host. I love the guy that puts them on. He's a really good guy. But they hated me, and they didn't hate me in a mean way. They just didn't understand me, and we actually had more fun just talking about how I did not relate to them.
Yeah.
Eventually, somebody did recommend that I check out Raymond, the Amish comic, for more kind of topical, relatable material.
Yeah.
But the next night was really fun. That was in Hershey. And after the show, a guy came up to us, all the comics, and he listed off all the things that were offensive. And he did it in a way that we kept on thinking he was going to be, like, because he was like, child molestation, violent sex, drug abuse. Like, where we thought he was going to be like, I'm just fucking with you. But he didn't. He just said that it was completely unfunny and he couldn't enjoy the show after the first iterance of it. And then he just stood there for a second. And we were like, okay, thank you, sir. We appreciate the feedback.
It's so funny because when you're faced with that, like, directly, when they come up to your face and they do it, there's something funny just about the lack of there's nowhere to go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So for somebody to come up and do that to your face and then not have anything else, like to not be able to just continue the conversation from there.
Yeah.
At least there's like, you walk away from the situation kind of laughing because you're like, well, there is really no fixing that. Well, but when they do it online, there's just nothing, there's just nowhere for it to go.
Except here, where we make fun of you, Rebecca. You should know that you've just opened yourself to, tens of thousands of people who dislike you because they like us. So that's on you, and you probably won't do it again, I hope.
Well,
we're not restaurants. Why are you Yelping us?
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Well, here's the thing. It's like, it's fine. You don't have to. It's okay. You don't have to like it. You know?
But you don't have to write a thing.
Well, I mean, that was just, I had to read that because otherwise I just took it in and sat with it for the rest of the day. The only reason I read this out loud is so that it gets out of my own head. Because otherwise, I just think about it in the shower. And that's very sad. Then she's actually making an impact. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If I carry it like a secret.
I mean, I really don't take these ever to... Well, I don't get a lot of mean messages. I don't think I put myself out there as much as you. I really don't. I don't get mean messages. Sometimes I get like on a YouTube comment, I'll get like a meh or this guy, boring or whatever. But this woman, it's so funny that we're talking about this because I walked into the Fat Black the other night. I was going to do a set in the lounge. Sean was sitting there and he was kind of getting berated by this woman and her husband.
Sean
Donnelly. And it was because she had been in the Jim Norton show and he had made a joke about pedophiles. And she'd stormed out. Right. And I was just kind of there. I was like talking to Sean, but she was kind of being ridiculous. She was screaming, like top of her lungs, screaming.
What was she saying?
She was saying you don't make jokes about molestation. And I was just kind of annoyed. So I turned to her and I was like, I got molested. I don't have a problem with it. And she said, oh, so you got molested? Well, I got molested too. And I was like, all right, well, don't go to the show, And I like walked away.
Yeah.
I mean, when somebody's like about to cry, you never can win that.
Right.
But it's so funny.
The only way to win an argument against a person who's crying is to literally kill yourself on the spot.
Yeah, just shoot yourself right there.
That's the only way.
That would be such a funny... I actually have a new joke about this, but it would be such a funny own just to be like, oh, okay, well, I do actually feel awful.
Yeah, because if you're crying the only way to win is it's like now it's the victim Olympics.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I mean, you actually can't ever win with a crying lady. I mean, for the most part, other than like the Victoria's Secret Karen. What was her name?
Oh, just Victoria's Secret Karen.
Yeah, like that is like, because you saw the buildup and you saw the switch. But if you ever walk up to me and a woman's crying, no matter what the conversation is,
the only way to win is to kill yourself. Yeah. That's it. You just have to. You have to do that, or you just start punching yourself in the face as hard as you can.
That's a thing, and I know you're not going to agree with this, but that's a thing that women have, is that if I fight you, even if it's just us, even if nobody's here, and you start crying,
no, I agree.
You win. That's why men punch walls, because we can't cry.
100% agree with that. That is true. It's like it's the. I remember when like the white women tears thing started trending. And a friend of mine who shall not be named, who is a white woman who lives, in the Pacific Northwest, called me up and was like very upset, very upset about white women tears being, she was like, I just don't understand. Like, we can't even cry. Like, what? We can't cry? And she's
was
like,
she crying?
No, but she was getting very worked up about it. And I thought, I was like, if the only way that this is hitting a nerve is if you have automatically felt like crying is your only out.
Yeah.
And it has been. If you're a white woman and you can't admit that, like, when a cop pulls up next to you, it hasn't gone through your mind to start crying to try to get out of it, you're lying to yourself.
Yeah.
Okay?
You need that story ready. You just got broken up with.
I've pulled it. I've tried to cry. Unfortunately, I've crammed so much anger inside of me that when I start to try to cry, it just comes off like I'm trying to squeeze a shit out of my eyes, But it is very tempting to go. I remember one time I tried to cry at a police officer because I was going like 90 in like a 40-mile zone. And I was like, I'm on my way to a religious, it was like I was going to a bar mitzvah. And I was like, I'm going to a religious.
Were you in high school?
Yeah. What did I say? Religious occasion.
You were like Mrs. Lebowski in high school. You were such a problem. You were just a horned up rich kid.
I was. Yeah. I was.
It's so funny.
I wouldn't say I was like well, no, I was.
Yeah. You got fucked on your mom's kitchen table and she walked in. I wish, hey, power to you. I'm jealous. I
never got to come.
I was like scared that it meant something.
What?
I denied almost all high school sex because I was like, I want to wait for the right person and all that.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Aww.
Yeah, it sucks. I look back on it now and it's like I could have been freshman year.
You're romantic.
Such a waste. Just the best time to be reckless.
That's how you know you were a good-looking guy in high school.
That I turned it down?
Yeah, that you were like, because you were like, if you had the option a number of times and you were turning it down, you're basically like, you have the attitude sexually of like a Danish guy.
Yeah.
Like Danish men are like, if you approach a Danish man, he acts like he has the confidence of a hot woman.
How do you know this about Danish men?
Because I was good friends with a guy who was Danish.
Were you hanging out at the Scandinavian house on Park Avenue?
I had a bunch of friends from Denmark when I first got sober that were like extremely hot.
Yeah, all the Scandies are so hot.
Dude, they're so hot and they have like the attitude of like a hot woman from America.
Yeah.
But they like wait for women to approach them.
There's this clothing company and it's based out of Stockholm. It's called A Day's March. Mm-hmm. And they've been good to me, like where if I go to Stockholm, they'll let me like go in the store, take a piece. Mm-hmm. And it's like it's like basically like a nicer J. Crew. But the guy who's like their media like representative dude mm-hmm. is so beautiful. Like he could come to America and be a model or like an actor. And he's just like, yeah, I work in the office and take whatever you like. We're very big fans. And I'm just like, dude, you should not talk to me. You are so beautiful. He looks like a White Walker went and got a tan. Like, he's just gorgeous.
Just piercing blue eyes.
Yeah, like cold. You're just like, God.
Yeah, sends a shiver down your spine.
I do want to bring up something, a little bit of a pivot, and I just want to kind of, we've been having fun with our little, his or hers kind of opinions. What do you call them? Feuds. But this one's a little different, and I just kind of want to get the audience's input, which is Rosebud texted me this the other night, and she said, I want to make a rule that one day a week I do nothing.
Yeah.
And you are not allowed to ask me questions. And
about anything other than that day.
I don't ask you about future days anymore. I realized this because I was trying to write a joke about it. This is what I do now. I am in a abusive relationship. I will stop and I will go, hey, babe, is it okay if I ask you a question right now? Like a fucking hostage. Like a hostage. I don't ask Rosebud, I don't go like, Rosebud's working and I go like, hey, what is the mass of Europa, the moon off of Jupiter?
You came home last night at 2 a.m. I had just woken up. And what was the first thing you asked me? Did you talk to your social media guys about doing clips for the podcast at 2 a.m. when I just woken up? That's unacceptable.
Well, I'm just taking the podcast very seriously, and we are minus a video editor right now. Okay. So I was just, I'm just trying to put this podcast.
But 2 a.m.
and our guests.
Don't bring the rest. 2 a.m. I had just woken up. You come in and you start wanting to talk business. I don't understand it because
the market, money never sleeps.
During the day when we're working and doing stuff around the house, it's like you are so involved with your puttering. You love to putter. He's a real putter king. He loves to walk around the house and rearrange stuff and do little detail things.
Do the dishes.
Yeah. But which, by the way, you did not need to do because I had done everything while you were gone.
You were great, yeah.
So, credit where it's due. Thank you very much. I just am asking simply that I just get one day a week where I don't get any questions asked, where it's not it's not a question fest.
Yeah, but okay, I get
one
it.
Day.
But you are making it sound like I do this all the time.
Honey, you do it all the time. If this argument can't exist unless you admit that you do ask a lot of questions. Now, because that's just making me sound like a crazy person.
Well, I ask you questions. This is the one that bothers Rosebud a lot. I go, do you have spots tonight? Or what time are your shows? Because we live together and we have a child that we need to give drugs so she doesn't get us kicked out of the building. So most of it is just hey, I got to leave at 6.
It's not.
What time do you got to leave?
But that's not true. You don't just ask me about spots. You ask me about my flights, when we're leaving for Mexico. Do I have tests that we've, just little detailed things. And it's not just one thing. It's not the worst thing in the world. But I just want one day a week where I don't get asked questions.
But you hate it so much. I don't ask you questions all day. I ask you I honestly ask you 2 questions. Well, here's what I'm proposing because it bothers you so much.
This is not fair because you're telling the listeners that you don't ask any questions and then it seems like I'm upset about nothing.
No. I do ask questions. I do ask questions, but most of the questions are not NIMBY-BIMBY. Last night I asked because...
What is that?
Whatever, fucking silly questions. I asked you a question last night because I go, fuck, we still need to get video edited tomorrow.
Right.
For Monday.
Yeah.
And it just occurred to me. And so I'm like, oh, did you, I just had driven 4 hours. I wasn't asking that because it was I wanted to talk business.
Right, I know.
And then most of the time I'm asking you a question because we are married and I need to plan a life with you. I've stopped asking about like trips. I've stopped asking.
No, you haven't.
What's the last trip I asked about?
Mexico.
The trip we're going on next week?
Mm-hmm.
I don't have any questions about when we're leaving. You asked me when my flight was last week.
Andy, this is so frustrating. You got to admit that you keep fucking asking me these questions. I'm not making this up. You do ask me a shitload of questions. Every day. Even when my sister's here, you're like, hey, do you want to take these plates back to your place? We're rearranging the storage downstairs. It's fair. I'm not saying you can't ask them. I'm asking for 1 day a week where I don't get asked questions.
Here's what I'm proposing. I'm going to work on not asking you any questions.
Why?
Because I want to live independent of each other. I want to stop bothering you with my desire to coordinate a life together. And we're just going to be, if we happen to be around each other, it'll be great. If
That's
not,
fantastic because we live together, so that will be fine.
But if I leave and you go, well, where are you going? Or if I'm gone for a couple days and you go like, where are you going? I'm going to just go, I didn't want to bother you with a question, so I didn't coordinate with you.
That's not even a question. That's like, hey, I'm not telling you when I'm leaving.
Well, usually I ask a question to ask like, what should we do about the dog? Or, something like that. So I just don't want to bother you anymore. I know how hard it is to get asked a question after being a professional comedian all day. I know how stressful it is, how much of a burden my questions are.
Do you see what I'm fucking dealing with? It's so dramatic. I ask for 1 day a week where I just get to sit on the couch. I don't get asked any questions. And I just get to everybody just shut the fuck up. Just for 1 day.
1 day a week, like Mariah Carey. Divas Live starring Rosebud Baker.
Wow.
Is available on VH1, actually coming this spring.
Unbelievable. I don't understand how this is such a big issue.
America, I know that you guys all are out of work and, you don't have health care and your infrastructure is collapsing beneath your feet. But
stop trying to make a war between me and America.
1 day a week.
There is a war between you and I.
1 day a week.
And all it has to do with is your love of asking me pointless shit. That's just, you just want to all day, you just want to be like, hey, what time are we taking the dog out? Hey, do you know what time the game's on? Hey, are you going to be using the computer from this hour to this hour? Like, I just want everyone to shut the fuck up. Just so I can sit in my own fucking head and just be a golden retriever.
But you have all the time in the world. I just
stare out the window or at my phone and nothing happens in my head. It is nice. It was nice. Like when I woke up what was it, 2 days ago? And you were like, are you annoyed at me? And I hadn't said anything to you. I was like, what? Why would I be annoyed at you?
Well, because the night before you had just been like, all right, good night. I don't know. I thought you were annoyed.
Why would I be annoyed? I said, all right, good night.
Yeah, I don't know.
If I'm annoyed at you, when have I not told you that I'm annoyed?
That's a good point. Well, I know the questions annoy you. I guess I want the viewers to chime in because the other day, like Judy Gold and Rosebud, like basically like did like a Blood Brothers with their fucking menstrual blood about how annoying it is to be asked.
We're gonna bring misogyny into this.
How annoying it is that their
he's
partners
losing the argument when he starts bringing up my period. That's how you know he's losing.
I was just making a picture of two lesbians bonding over menses, and so
wow, he's gonna get homophobic with it now too.
Yeah, well, it's not a pejorative, just a descriptor, just kind of an adjective.
Sure.
An identity, and so I was just because I feel like I get painted in this relationship as like the needy kind of like, oh babe, what time are we going to dinner?
You get painted as the needy one. That's a painting.
Okay.
That's a figment of my imagination.
Yeah, like you don't make me cuddle you at night and keep the TV on. And last week you weren't a monster to me. Yeah, I'm such a little baby girl. Emasculate me for everyone.
I'm not. I'm not emasculating you.
You are.
No, you're equating need with a lack of masculinity, which is internalized misogyny and toxic masculinity. But that's your problem.
Yeah.
Okay? I'm not putting a judgment on it.
Okay, well, I'm going to really try not to ask you any more questions.
I'm asking for one day.
No, I know, and I'm going to give you 7.
Okay.
I'm going to give you 7 days.
That's fantastic, Andy.
I'm not going to try to do any of that.
Do you understand that's not a punishment for me? Like, I know that you mean it as like a punishment.
No, I'm not trying to punish you with it. I really am not trying to punish you with it. I'm just trying to show you that my questions have a place in this world, and we can go into chaos. We can just go into the world of just why plan anything?
I can't wait for you to find out that is not chaos. That is peace.
I can't wait to move to Crested Butte. I can't wait.
You're not moving to Crested Butte.
I am. If anybody knows any kind of well-paying jobs and maybe like a garage top that I can stay in.
Guys, just let us know. Sound off.
Sound off in the comments. Blast off
let
in
us
the
know
DMs.
which one of us is correct here. Because I would love to know. If
They're
I'm
all
wrong,
on your side.
If I'm wrong, I'll own up to it. Okay?
You guys all have a day where you don't do anything and your spouse is not allowed to talk to you, right? You guys all have that. That's like a normal marriage.
That is a good marriage.
Especially people who don't have kids and don't really have normal jobs. You guys all have this, right?
It's fine.
No, I know. I'm just asking. I'm chiming in.
Okay. Have I been intolerant?
I don't know. No, honestly.
I'm asking you, do you find this question to be an intolerant question that I ask for one day a week where we don't talk, we just get to just be, I'm not saying we can't talk. I'm just saying like the general rule is there's no planning, there's no thinking ahead. We just stay in the day and we just fucking chill. Like, that's all I'm asking for.
Yeah, I guess that's not a lot to ask for. I guess.
What is your fear? Like, why are you resistant to this? I gotta know.
Well, I just like to know what's going on.
I'm gonna put on my shades since I know that you're gonna be throwing some shade.
It didn't work.
It didn't.
No, but keep them on.
I will. I'm actually more worried about my mascara running.
You crying?
Yeah, I'm sobbing.
Okay. No, it annoys me because I'm never asking because I'm like, I want to just ask you a question. It's like just trying to plan my day. Like when I ask you what time your sets are, it's because I want to know if we're going to eat dinner together or if the dog needs its pill. And if I don't ask you those things, then I'm responsible for my own stuff. But it's like, first of all, you're terrifying. You are not an easy person to broach these subjects with.
Why am I terrifying?
Because you reacted like you just reacted. I mean, it's just like immediately like on the defense.
What was crazy about that?
You just made it sound like I ask you like questions all day. Like it's like a need just to want to know what what the night is.
Here's what I resent about it. I am a little all over the place.
Same.
As a person. I don't like to plan things. I know that makes me a frustrating partner. However, I start to feel angry when I feel like I'm being parented by my spouse. Okay,
that makes sense. But here's the thing. Like, how am I supposed to do things like I want to stay in the day to day, but like, how am I supposed to okay, I have like gigs coming up and I'm going to be gone for 2 weeks at the end of the month. And then I'm going to be gone for like another weekend here. And then I'm going to be gone for like another week there.
Yeah.
And when I go like, hey, like a month out, like I'm going to be gone.
Yeah.
You go like, ugh, I don't want to think about this right now. And it's like, I could not tell you. And then the weekend that I'm like, hey, I'm leaving for 2 weeks. And then you'd be like, what the fuck? Because
Have I ever reacted like, what the fuck, when you have to go?
You've been like, why didn't you tell me kind of stuff. Like when you have to go and I have to go because the dog.
No, I haven't.
You have been frustrated.
No, I've been like, oh, fuck.
You've never been frustrated. That is your argument, that you've never been frustrated.
No, not really. Like, not in a way that's
Do you see what I'm dealing with? I'm dealing with somebody who has never been frustrated. Absolute angel, like just an emotionally evolved person who just doesn't get frustrated and, has to have a day where...
That's all I'm saying. Listen, I'm not saying that when you leave town and I don't have a heads up that I don't go like, oh, fuck, I got to figure out what to do with the dog. I got to, you know what I mean? Like there's a last minute like panic that sets in. Mm-hmm. But I take care of it. I don't go like, this is your problem now. I make it my problem.
No, of course you do. And you're really good about that. But it's also like...
So then what's the big deal?
It makes life easier. When you go like, hey, we got this thing coming up. Instead of buying the plane tickets the night before, let's just buy them now.
I don't...
Like normal humans.
I really disagree about that. Because here's the thing with buying plane tickets.
It's not plane tickets was the wrong analogy. I know you're going to have a thing where you talk about how you have to cancel flights all the time.
Okay, so give me a different one.
Just anything where it's like a last minute kind of, like all the stuff you put off. Like how your license is probably suspended because you don't want to deal with the half a day of online traffic school.
Yeah.
Like
it's suspended in a state that I don't live in.
And you will not recognize that is all the states. When they suspend it in California, they suspend it in New York.
Well, it's not suspended in New York.
Have you checked?
No.
Okay. If you do get a bench warrant and they arrest you, I'm so excited to come pick you up at Central or whatever that
Central
is.
Booking?
I would love that so much. That would be so funny.
But do I drive?
No.
Do I even drive?
No.
So then who gives a shit?
Well, you're going to drive. You're going to go on the road like so much this year.
I'm flying everywhere.
You're not? Okay. Oh, God. I'm so defeated.
Also, if I hold on a second. If I'm
my dreams are dying.
Renting a car with a license, wouldn't they know if my license was suspended?
No.
They wouldn't?
I don't think they have records like that. I don't think they're like tapped into the DMV. Maybe they are. I don't know. I've never had them know like my license status. It's a rental agency. It's not but
That's
it would
true.
make sense that they would. Anyways, we really screwed the pooch on this. Hey guys, remember last week when that lady diarrheaed all over that guy?
That was in the Patreon episode.
I know.
Anyway,
a lady guy.
I do want to know who wins this fight. Like who's correct here?
Well, it's just like one of us has to be the like, you need to pay this parking ticket person, right? Like out of the two of us, one of us has to be that.
Yes.
So I'm fine with you being the aloof, live in the present, do what you want, forever young. Lunatic. But don't resent me for being the one that's like, hey, let's not get the car impounded and pay the ticket.
I don't. I actually love that about you. I love that you are able. That's one of the things that I truly love about you. I'm not kidding. Look at me. I'm not kidding. That is honestly.
Okay.
I value that in you.
Okay.
And I know that even if it's frustrating for me, that I need to be better about those things. And that if I was married to myself, I probably would not even have a home.
Yeah. Well, you've done pretty well for yourself beyond me.
Yeah, but I'm saying like none, my bills would be fucking late. It's like it would be a disaster, right?
Yeah.
So it's not that I don't value those things about you. It's just that I want one day a week where we live like me. Mm-hmm. Because we're always having to, it feels like I am constantly going, okay, this is important. Andy's the one who's like logical and plans things and gets things done. And without him, we won't get anything done. However, I just want one day a week where you go, okay, maybe there's some value in the way that Rosebud is doing shit.
I think there's complete value in the way you do things.
So that's why I'm saying one day a week, we do things the way I do them, which is not do anything.
Okay. I mean, here's
you
the
just
thing.
have one day where you just go, fuck every deadline.
I like that. I do like that a lot. I will tell you that, Mouse, what are you doing? Mousy, stop it.
Mouse.
I think she's chewing the cord. Anyways, Mouse is trying to kill herself to get attention. But you know, like, here's something. Me and Rosebud, we have a full-size bed because Rosebud didn't want to get an adult bed because she wasn't sure if we were going to stay married.
No.
Even a year into our relationship.
No. Make it about what it was.
It was that it was going to add 4 inches to our already small bedroom. We didn't know we were going to move. Okay, so we got a new bed. And then Rosebud cannot fall asleep without the TV on. I cannot fall asleep with the TV on. I have to wake up really early. So most nights, I will stay up until Rosebud, who does not have to get up early, can fall asleep. And then I will turn off the TV so that I can then fall asleep.
That's not fair because I'm obviously wrong.
But I'm living like you. I'm a wild child who needs sleep or, to keep any kind of sense of sanity.
Okay, fine. So here's the compromise. How about this as a compromise? We don't watch TV in bed. And in exchange, I get 1 day a week where I get no questions.
All right, I'm fine with that. But here's the thing. You can always watch your phone, put on your headphones.
Great.
Put on the iPad.
Great.
As long as you don't go through my text messages. And, just like...
That's fucking fair.
All right. Oh, God. You guys were working through it. We're really getting there. I think we have another couple months in us.
You act like it's so hard to be married to me.
It's not. No, it's not.
So difficult.
It's not hard.
A hard-headed woman.
No, that's not it. It's just that our love languages are kind of opposing. Like I need quality time.
I don't think love languages are real.
I know you don't, but then you do think astrology is real. So you're really kind of...
I don't think astrology is real. I think it's fun.
You don't think it's real?
No. I wrote astrology articles for a year. I know it's not real.
But you're always like, my sensitive little Cancer.
Yeah, it's fun. I'm not saying that like I'm a fucking doctor.
Okay. What is real?
Am I like I'm not like pointing to your fucking eczema and being like, this is because you're a Cancer.
I don't have eczema.
Well, you know what I'm saying.
You mean my shaky paw?
Whatever. Yeah.
Okay. Hi, Mouse.
Anyway, I feel like we should do a bad advice question.
Do you want to keep talking about our marital disputes?
Sure, if you have another one.
No, I'm kidding. I don't have another one.
I wonder what Rebecca Dunn would have to say about this.
She'd be on my side.
You think so?
Probably.
She probably would. Her fucking email address has caretaker in it.
Does it?
Yeah.
She sounds fun.
Okay. This is from Sergio. Bad advice. Should my hip-hop R&B group spam DJ Hans Kim's Twitter account? What? For plays, listens? What?
Okay. Okay.
Should my hip-hop R&B group spam DJ Hans Kim's Twitter account for plays and listens? Okay, got it. Sorry. Why was that so hard for me to put together?
All I know... I think they're talking about Hans Kim, the comedian that lives in a van in Austin and formerly lived in a van in New York.
Can you look up DJ Hans Kim?
I know a Hans Kim who's from Seattle, and he's kind of he's an eccentric guy. Let's put it that way. That's a nice way to say it. And he was okay. Here we go. We've got DJ Hans Kim. This might be a different guy. I don't know. No, this is him. Yeah, he's from Seattle. He's doing well. Look at that.
That's great.
I do think he lives in a van.
So should you spam his account? I mean, how many Twitter followers does he have?
Well, let's look. It looks like he's good at social media. I should take not that many. He's got
like 4,000.
Not even. He's got 3,300. This seems kind of unnecessary.
Yeah, that sort of feels like.
But I mean, you know what?
I just feel like if you have a hip hop R&B group, I think you should probably reach higher. No offense to Hans.
Well, I don't even know what they mean by like spam. Like, do you mean to like spam him so that he gets plays, or do you mean to spam?
Yeah, I'm not even sure what the plan was, but I don't think you need our bad advice on this. I feel like you're doing a great job coming up with your own bad advice, right?
Yeah.
Like it feels like we should actually be asking you for bad advice.
Yeah. Also, are you in a horror movie?
Yeah.
What? Bury the lead. You did not bring that up.
I am in a horror movie that was shot. I told you about this because it was the horror movie that I shot where I almost died in a fire.
It's not registering.
Okay, so
you'd think I'd remember that because I would kind of enjoy.
I know you would, because the guy who was doing sound on that was also working on Che's show and has footage of me jumping out of a shack that was on fire. Jumping out the window of a shack that was on fire because we were doing pyrotechnics, and the pyrotechnic guy had never been on camera, and he was doing his pyrotechning and then acting at the same time. And you know how when like somebody's not used to being on camera, they'll like shake hands for a very long time?
Yeah.
Like when you watch a low budget commercial, you'll see them like shaking hands, and they do it for too long because they're not used to being on camera.
He shook your hand for too long?
No, he shot fire out of a thing for too long, and the whole shed went up in flames, and I had to jump out the window.
That's crazy. I had no idea. Is this the one that Matt Pavich's sister produced?
No.
Okay.
This was...
It's so weird to me that you have this whole indie film career where you were, with a bunch of waiters pretending to be in a horror scenario.
It was... This is the Samuels brothers, and they are
so it's like a real... I've heard of them.
They're great.
Yeah.
And we worked on... It was like on a farm in Pennsylvania, in like rural Pennsylvania, and we shot this zombie movie, and I was like, I always wanted to do a zombie movie because they're so funny. Like, horror movies are hilarious to me, especially like... Because even if you agree to do a horror movie, if it's bad, it's still good. You know? Like, the worse it is, kind of the better it is.
Yeah.
So there's really no risk.
Yeah, because it's like the only genre, like, because we watched that, what's her name? The serial killer that, like, we watched it the other night, and I was like, it looks like Canadian TV.
Yeah.
Like.
Oh, the Eileen Wuornos one?
Yeah, that
American
somehow.
Boogie Woman?
That was borderline, but it was so bad it was good. I don't think they were going for that at all. I think they thought that they really had a.
Yeah.
Because they also had some big actors in it. Like,
yeah.
Like, one of the guys is like been nominated for an Oscar.
Yeah.
The German interview guy.
And it's such a bad movie.
Yeah. It almost feels like they filmed certain parts and then they were like, all right, we're going to really go non-union.
I don't know why you would do that after, like, there was an Academy Award winning film about Eileen Wuornos with Charlize Theron. Like, why would you go, let's do this again? I
think because, honestly, there's probably somebody taking meetings at Netflix, and they're like, we'll do anything serial killer. And then, like, a group of people were like, what? Eileen Wuornos, we haven't talked about when she was a kid.
Right.
Anyways.
Yeah.
That's crazy to me. And also, we should comment.
Oh, I should say that Yeah, so Sergio also wrote, I just saw Eyes of the Dead, which was the zombie movie that I did. Only because RB was in it. I love the zombie genre, and some movies have no draw. Here's to the residuals, which I have not seen, surprisingly.
And the last part?
And we're using those Andy Haynes gifs in the vids. Team Andy.
Yes.
What are Andy Haynes gifs?
Sergio, I love that about you. I love what you're doing. My special is going to come out in... we just shot the intro to Andy's special, and it's fucking great. It's great. I think you guys will get to see it actually this next Friday. And then I think the special will be out in 2 weeks.
Are you going to drop the intro as the trailer to the special?
Yeah.
Fucking perfect.
And that way I don't have to worry about the song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. You guys, I think that's it for this week.
Do you want to plug?
Make sure that you head over to the Patreon. Go to www.patreon.com/findyourbeach. All of the money that you give through the Patreon goes towards the podcast, helps us just keep doing this without...
It all goes towards the production. So
yeah.
It's just to make the podcast better and bigger and stronger and longer.
Yeah, and it's a full-time fucking job doing this podcast, so it helps us just like do this.
Look at these microphones. We have to set these things up once a week. Take them down so that we look like normal people, and then we put them back up.
We don't really take them down.
But do you want to plug your dates? This is coming out tomorrow. So
yes. I'm going to be in Portland and Eugene, Oregon, opening for Chelsea Handler on the 3rd and 4th. I will be... Is it?
I didn't want to interrupt you. I think it's the 4th and 5th. Don't you get in a day early?
No, it's the 3rd and 4th.
Oh, okay.
And then I'm going to be at Blue Room in where? Missouri?
Yeah, I think it's St. Louis or
Columbia, Missouri.
Oh, okay.
At Blue Note or Blue Room. Anyway, you can go to my website. I'll be there February 26th for one night only. So make sure you get tickets to that. And you can get tickets to all my other cities are on my website at rosebudbaker.com for Your Mother's a Tour. Leave a review for the podcast. Join the Patreon. We did that. Okay, that's it for me.
I will be around New York for the next week. And then we're going to go to Mexico. And then, this is fun, I will be in Frederick, Maryland, the 20th of February. And then that next week, the 24th through the 26th, I will be in Calgary, Alberta at the Laugh Shop with the very funny Andy Farnsworth. And then I will be at Wise Guys at Jordan Landing the 4th and 5th of March, the Friday and Saturday, whatever that first Friday and Saturday is. And
also, while we're in Mexico, I will be ovulating.
Cool. You know
Send
what that
us
means.
your sperm.
Wait, what? All right. Bye.
Bye.